Hello, everybody. This is Grady with Schizoid Gaming. I am recording this today because, well, to try and explain to you guys what's going to happen over the next week and possibly even later. So, today, I've been... my original plan for today was I was going to start recording with Star Fox Adventures, get it out of the way, you know, do the egg mission off camera, because you've seen how it is. You've seen what it, the mechanics of that part of the game. So there's no reason for you guys to sit there and watch me get frustrated over and over and over again on something that will probably take over half an hour to get correct. There's no reason to waste your time doing that. But and then after that, I was going to play Illusion of Gaia, to kind of balance it out and make it okay, so I wouldn't get so unbelievably frustrated, so that I could end the day on something positive. And I woke up this morning and kept putting it off and kept putting it off. Cleaned up my house, kept putting it off, waited to do other things, because I was like, well, I really ought to do Star Fox. Kept putting it off. Got to a point where I had to wait for somebody to send me an email, so I couldn't do anything during that time. Kept putting it off, and now it's 11:30 at night, and I still don't really want to do it. So I've decided what I've decided to do. Because Star Fox Adventures has got me in a state right now where I just do not want to do it. Okay, to give you an idea, the last recording that you guys saw yesterday, because I didn't upload anything today because I didn't have anything more, the recording from yesterday was from 3 weeks ago. That's how long it's been since I've played Star Fox, and I'm still hesitant to turn it back on. I do not want to play this game anymore, at least not right now. I do want to finish. I do want to continue to the point that I can actually get to the end of the game, hopefully without too much more frustration, but right now, my mental state is such that I cannot deal with any more Star Fox. So, and again, that was 3 weeks ago. In the interim, I have gotten a cat. I have, I've seen the psychologist once already, or psychiatrist, sorry. Seen the psychiatrist once. I've, so much has happened in those 3 weeks, and I still just do not want to come back to Star Fox Adventures. So what I'm gonna do, and I'm telling you guys this because I want your feedback. Star Fox Adventures is the one series that seems to be getting the most positive feedback from you guys. You guys really do want to see the rest of this. And I understand why. It's a very beautiful game, and honestly, it's fun to just run around and do random shit. It's playing around in it. It's a fun game. I enjoy the combat in it. I bitch about it, but I do enjoy it. Not so much the story, and not so much, some of the puzzle solving, which really just depends on you being in the right place at the right time. It's like, not so much that stuff, but the gameplay itself I actually do kind of like. So I get why people want to see the rest of it. It is an interesting game, if nothing else. I just don't want to do it right now. If you guys really do want to see more of it, I will try next week. But this week I can't. There's no way. There's no way. I absolutely cannot. And I'm sorry about that. I really am. But I can't. And this is kind of what happened last year. Remember last year when I started this channel and then it suddenly died? This is why. Because I didn't want to come back to playing Star Fox. I didn't. Even though it was my most requested series, I didn't want to do it. So this channel languished for literally months. Almost a full year passed. A full year had passed between my first episode and when I came back. All because I didn't want to play any more Star Fox. And it's gotten to that point again. You know, I would love to play another Star Fox game, but I don't have any other Star Fox games here. My Star Fox game for the Super Nintendo is the game that is currently missing from my Super Nintendo collection. I don't know where it is. I swear I had it, and it's not here. So, wherever it is, I don't know where it is. I never owned Star Fox 64. That's the kitten. Never owned Star Fox 64. Although I do own a copy of it now. The copy that I own now that is on its way here is a Japanese copy. So, you know, you guys are going to have a bit of a language barrier with that. I'll try to do a little bit of If you know my foreign languages, I'm decent with translation from a foreign language to English. I can't do the other way. Not very well, anyway. So, you know, Japanese, I can do decently well. So I can try to translate on the fly what Fox and Peppy and Slippy and Falco are saying. Which was kind of the plan when I bought that game. I was like, hey, you know, Star Fox 64, I never owned it. And, oh, it's Japanese. Oh, okay. But I'm okay with it. I hope you guys are too. That's not going to be here for a little while, though. So, you know, the only other console Star Fox game was Star Fox Assault. And I explained in comments on a previous video. I haven't explained it here, which is why I'm going to do it now. Unfortunately, Star Fox Assault is one of the, like, 3 or 4 GameCube games that are still at my parents' place. I moved there back in 2011 after you know, the housing market crash kind of completely destroyed the job market. So, you know, of course, I took as much of my stuff back to Cincinnati as I could. And when I moved back out here to New Mexico, a lot of that stuff had to stay behind. There was no way I could fit it all in my car, because that's what I did. I drove from Cincinnati all the way to New Mexico with as much of my stuff in the car as I could fit. And so some of my GameCube games ended up staying behind, unfortunately. And unfortunately, Star Fox Assault is one of those. I don't have a capture device so I can, you know, record Star Fox 64 3D or Star Fox Command. I do own both of them. I don't have any way of capturing them. I'm sorry. Let's see here. Other than that, so I don't have any other Star Fox games to play to kind of put it, you know, in the interim. And besides which, I did say before that I would like to finish one of the 3 games I'm currently playing for the channel before I start another one, because if I start another one, it's going to keep piling up and piling up and piling up. I mean, and I know I keep going to examples from other YouTubers, but, you know, for example, when the Game Grumps do that, if you've ever listened to the Game Grumps just ramble about the games that are on their to-do list or to-finish list, it's huge. I mean, they have dozens of games that they haven't finished that they do intend to come back to. For example, Pokemon. They've, you know, actually really been intending to come back to that. They just haven't had the time to do it because they have so much other stuff going on. They can't. And that's another thing, too. That's something else that I don't usually talk about on this channel. I certainly don't talk about it when I'm playing games because I don't think about it. You know, I talk all the time, oh, I've got nothing to talk about. I've got tons of stuff to talk about. I can never think of it on the fly. But, for example, right now, if you're at all aware of the Dragonfly telephoto array, back last year and the year... Well, no, it was entirely last year, I guess. They had some press releases where they discovered, for example, 7 dwarf galaxies in the vicinity of M101, or 47 new large galaxies in the Coma cluster, Coma Berenices. It's that's the team that was here just last week, and I mean, it was phenomenal. I loved it because their telescope is actually hosted here. I'm one of the people who works on the hardware of the telescope to make sure that it runs continuously and doesn't, you know, break. But I'm also kind of their computer consultant, like, because the thing is, Roberto Abraham, who is the computer guy on their team, Roberto and Jilai Zhang, I think, is the other one. Anyway, Roberto is a Unix guy, and so am I. I mean, if you've seen this computer here, it's Linux Mint. And of course, you know, most of you Unix folks out there saying, Linux Mint, that's hardly a Unix, right? Yeah, I get where you're coming from, trust me. I use Linux Mint because it's convenient and easy, but I am a Unix guy. But a lot of our units here, a lot of the telescopes that are hosted at the observatory run on Windows. And so I've gotten a lot more familiar with the Windows environment over the last almost 4 years that I've been here. And so I've been kind of helping them because their original design was running on Macs, but they couldn't scale that very well. And of course, the Mac operating system, even though it does run on Intel architecture now, a lot of the systems that can be used in the manner that they're trying to use them come bundled with Windows. So it was a matter of making it convenient for them and making it convenient for us. And so as a result, I've kind of become sort of their Windows consultant on the project. And I've been discussing the science with them too, because if you're not aware, I don't remember if I've ever mentioned this, I went to school for astrophysics. So I'm aware of a lot of the stuff that they're doing and a lot of the stuff that they're talking about that's really hard science. So it's fascinating to me to hear them talk about what they're doing and how they're, you know, processing their data, how they're what all they're doing. It's phenomenal to me. I love it. But they were here all last week, and as a result, I never really have any free time at work. I do, but I'm not supposed to. No, I mean, lately it's the monsoon season, so us being an optical observatory, you can't see through clouds, unfortunately. So we haven't been terribly busy, so I've had a little bit of free time at work. But this week I've not, because they've been here. And so somebody messaged me on my phone. So it's been a lot of fun, collaborating with these people to get this system to a state. I can't talk too much about it, but suffice to say, for as amazingly sensitive as the telescope is now, we're working to get rid of stuff that, in the end, once we're done, it will make the telescope probably 5 times more sensitive. I mean, just insane. And of course, as a result of that, they're going to be able to do tons of science that nobody else has ever done before. Which, of course, to me is insanely fascinating. And then there's another project that's coming up. We're not entirely sure that it's going to happen here. We're hopeful, obviously. We want it to happen here for a number of reasons. But basically, I'm trying to think of a way to say this such that you can understand why I'm excited about it. Back in the 1960s, I think it was, Princeton University bought a brand new, state-of-the-art, 36-inch reflecting telescope from a company called Bowler and Shevins. Absolute, the best opticians in the world at the time. And Princeton University used this amazing telescope with a unique built in-house mount and tracking system. They use this to do hard science. And Princeton University. You're aware of Princeton University. I don't care who you are. You know what it is. And part of the reason you know what it is because of all the hard science that telescope did. Even though they're located in Princeton, New Jersey, which of course doesn't have very good skies, they still did some really good science with that amazing telescope. And of course back then they didn't have things like laser precision milled optics and shit like that. So the mirror on that telescope, we've actually gotten it checked. We've gotten it checked optically for just how optically perfect it is. And it is damn near optically perfect. I mean, especially for something built in 1960s, it's just phenomenal. And it's probably going to come here. Princeton University sold the telescope a few years back. The observatory is still there, but of course, New York having grown as massive as it has, Princeton just doesn't have the sky to do an astronomy program located on campus anymore. So they sold the telescope to a private collector who, incidentally, also has telescopes here already. But this guy has, he really does want to have it hosted in southern New Mexico, but he's been leaning very strongly towards hosting it here. And so we've been really kind of hoping, like, come on, man. Dude, you gotta host it here. Of course, if it is hosted here, we're going to refurbish it. It's going to be, it will basically be a brand new system based on the original telescope. It's going to be about twice as fast, which means that it can gather light twice as fast. The mount control system, which before was based entirely on clockwork, which is amazing, but not terribly practical nowadays when we have what are called encoders, which allows the mount to know exactly where it is at all times. So we're going to retrofit it with this amazing brand new encoder system built specifically for this telescope. So it's going to track like it's never been able to track before. It's going to get just truly, truly amazing images. I can't really describe how phenomenal this telescope is going to be once we're done with it. But yeah, as a result, yeah, we've been kind of busy trying to figure out the logistics of that too, because it's going to be a huge undertaking. It's going to take myself, my boss, my coworkers, all of my coworkers. We're going to have to build a new building for this thing. It's going to be huge, and I'm glad we're going to do it if we end up doing it, because it's going to be a big thing. But as a result, yeah, I've been kind of busy with work, and I don't know where I was going with that originally. I've been rambling now for 20 minutes. This was originally going to be a 5-minute thing, and I've stretched it out to 20 minutes. This is what happens when I'm not playing video games and just talking to a camera, right? But what I was coming back to what I was originally talking about, how I don't want to continue playing Star Fox Adventures, and I don't have any other Star Fox games to begin with. And even if I did, I don't want to start another game. So, what I think I'm going to end up doing, and of course, this is not going to happen today. This is going to happen over the next week, because I don't have enough videos, even of Illusion of Gaia, to continue through the entire of next week. But probably I'm going to start playing some more Illusion of Gaia, and I'm going to go back to Metroid Prime. It was the last 2 videos I uploaded of Metroid Prime, which were earlier this year, but kind of random whenever they showed up. Purely because I was like, I've got the data, I might as well throw it on there. But those 2 videos actually got a lot of response from you guys. People really liked watching it. And so I'm kind of hoping that, going back to Metroid Prime would be acceptable in terms of, between that and Star Fox Adventures. I really can't bring myself to play that game right now. I do intend to come back to it, but right now I can't. So that's what's going to happen, is I'm going to start playing Metroid Prime again. Like I said, sometime this week is probably when it's going to happen, because I've only got 3 more, actually it might only be 2 more episodes of Illusion of Gaia recorded. So I have to record something, and it's probably going to be Illusion of Gaia at first, but I'll probably find time here and there to throw some Metroid Prime into the mix, which I do want to do. I've missed Metroid Prime. I enjoy that game. I know I kind of raged at it a little bit when I was playing it before, but that was also when I had this, or before I had this, rather. Before I had the artificial ticker, and so now that I've got it, I tend to rage a little bit more easily, but at the same time, the rage goes away a lot more easily too, and so I can mellow out a lot faster than I used to be able to do. And so I don't think I'm going to rage nearly as hard at Metroid Prime, just because it's actually a game I really enjoy. I love Metroid Prime. Yeah, I mean, it was the perfect 3D Metroid game. Just absolutely exactly what they needed to do. Metroid 2, or Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3, not so much. I mean, I liked the gameplay in Metroid Prime 3, the story was terrible. I was highly disappointed with the story. And I was pretty disappointed with the story of Metroid Prime 2 as well. And that's the big reason why I'm kind of like, about it. I mean, it's not a bad game. It's actually a pretty fun game, even considering, of the three, Metroid Prime 2 is probably the weakest. But at the same time, it's still fun, and I still remember it fondly. I mean, it was hard, but it was Nintendo hard. It was the kind of hard where it's like, if you fucked something up, you fucked something up. Samus didn't fuck it up, the controls didn't fuck it up, you fucked it up. So, it got frustrating, but not unbearably so. But anyway, I'm getting off track again. So, that's probably what's going to happen over the next week, is I'm going to start recording more Metroid Prime. It's going to go up instead of Star Fox Adventures. I'm not sure when I'm going to come back to Star Fox Adventures. If you guys really, 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 really want to see it come back, I might try next week or maybe in 2 weeks, just to give myself a little bit more of a buffer, because right now I can't. But we're nearing the end of Illusion of Gaia. So once that's done, something else is going to have to take its place, and I'm not sure what it's going to be. It might just be Star Fox Adventures. I might just come back to that and play it alongside Metroid Prime. I don't know. One other thing that's been happening lately, I got a Super Famicom. I think I mentioned that in one of my Illusion of Gaia videos, but I've got a Super Famicom now, and I've been getting a lot of new games for it. So I might throw one of those games up. I don't know. The two games I have right now in my possession are Seiken Densetsu 3 and 3x3 Eyes. Koma Soriden? Something like that. Anyway, those are the two games I've got right now. And I will tell you right now, both of them are ultra hard Japanese. I mean, just very difficult to read. A lot of the problem I have with either of them is that they use an awful lot of katakana, which I don't know a lot of katakana. Hiragana I'm decent with, but katakana I'm not. And, of course, kanji I'm terrible. But because they're Super Famicom games, of course, there's no voice acting, so I can't... If I could hear what they're saying, I could process it and then easily be able to translate it. But because I can't hear it, because there's no voice acting, I have to be able to read it. And I can read, like I said, Hiragana I'm actually pretty good at reading. Katakana I'm not. And kanji I'm definitely not. And because Seiken Densetsu 3, especially the intro sequences, have tons of names and proper nouns and, non-Japanese words thrown in there, it's a lot of katakana. That's exactly what that alphabet is used for. And I don't know it. And 3x3 Eyes is, it's actually, the Japanese title of the series is Seizen Eyes, with eyes, of course, being spelled in katakana. So to give you an idea of just how much katakana is used in this game, the intro sequence is done in largely hiragana. There's some kanji thrown in there, and a little bit of katakana in there too. But once you actually get into the game, the selection menu screen is 100% katakana. I can't read it, so I need to learn a little bit better how to do that before I delve into that game, or Seiken Densetsu 3. However, On the way, I do have, let's see here, ActRaiser, Chrono Trigger, Seiken Densetsu 2, which a lot of people will know as Secret of Mana, Soul Blader, which in the States was released as Soul Blazer, Tenshi Sozo, which in Europe was released as Terranigma. It was never released in the States. Let's see here, what else? And of course, if you're familiar with some of the titles I'm spewing off here, ActRaiser, Soul Blader, Terranigma, games in the same series as Illusion of Gaia, and that's part of why I was getting them, because it's like they're all part of the same timeline. Let's hear what else. Slayers, yes, Slayers, the Slayers that you're thinking of. They had a game on the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom. What else? Oh, Super Robot Daisen EX, which is Super Robot Wars EX. I don't know if that game was ever released in the States. I think it was, but I don't know. Anyway, those games. Some others that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. I mean, they're there. Oh, Bishojo Senshi Sailor Moon R. Captain Tsubasa J, The Way to World Youth. Which is, I mean, can you imagine naming a game that? But anyway, these are the games that I've got on their way for the Super Famicom. So one of these games, there was one in particular that I was like, that would be a great game to play on Schizoid Gaming, because there's very little language involved. But I don't remember which game it was, because, of course, a lot of the games that I just rattled off are RPGs, which all have just shitloads of language in them. Anyway, I've rambled on for over 30 minutes now. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. In conclusion, not going to do Star Fox Adventures for a little while. I'm going to let it sit by the wayside, because every time I try and play it, I rage quit. And when I rage quit, the last time I rage quit before this, the channel did an update for over a year, for almost a year, rather. And this time, it's been 3 weeks since I even touched the game, and I still don't want to do it. So I'm going to play something else, probably Metroid Prime, in the interim. And, like I said, we're ending Illusion of Gaia very soon. So once that's done, I'll have to figure something else out. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. I'll figure it out. Anyway, now that I've rambled for over 30 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you again for watching my channel. Really, it does mean a lot to me that people are actually watching this. I know I like to talk about, why the hell would you watch? But I mean, I enjoy watching others play video games, so it's like, yeah, I get it, And I'm glad you guys at least somewhat enjoy the ramblings that I do. So, thanks. Truly, thank you. There are, I think, 6 subscribers now, which, of course, is an all-time high. But even with the 6 subscribers, there are at least 2 of you that watch my videos regularly. So, and for that, I do thank you guys too. But anyway, I'm going to start rambling again. So, until next time, whenever I decide, or whenever I get around to recording new videos, I'll be recording new videos. So, until then, I will see you guys later. And thank you for watching.